What's going on, peeps? I want to end off 2023 by completing a massive obstacle that I've been wanting to get to for quite a while now. It's Christmas break, meaning I have like too much time on my hands at the moment, so I wanted to give Everywhere at the End of Time a shot in its entirety. If you don't know what this is, it's a 6-hour like ambient piece, completely instrumental. I won't be recording my actual reaction to it, but the review that I will be giving in the video will just be like my actual honest and raw thoughts from when I was listening to it. What I was writing down as I was experiencing it for the first time. I can see myself being confused, scared, feeling other strings of emotions while diving into this massive chunk of music. Once again, this is 6 hours. The longest album I had heard before was American Heartbreak by Zach Bryan, which is like 2 hours of just like country music. And this record is 3 times longer, bro. Goodness, I don't know if I'm gonna be able to do this all in one sitting, but we'll have to see. If you don't know what this album is about, I think it's best to give you some context. If you don't care, just skip right here. Also, if you don't want to be spoiled about the content of this compilation, I'm not sure why you're here. Here is how Everywhere at the End of Time came to be. The Caretaker, aka Leyland Kirby, is an English electronic musician. He put out 6 studio albums released between 2016 to 2019, depicting the course of Alzheimer's illness using deteriorating loops of dance music samples. This was set to be Kirby's last big project under the moniker, inspired by the popularity of an empty Bliss Beyond This World in 2011. His buddy Ivan Seal created the abstract album arts for the LPs, which were recorded in Kraków and distributed over 6 months in an effort to give a sense of time passing. There's going to be 6 hours of music in this series, which depicts a variety of moods and is always noisy. The albums showed the patient's illness and eventual death, their true feelings, and the phenomenon of terminal lucidity. I decided to listen to this entire thing the other day, and this is what I wrote down as I was experiencing this for the first time. Turns out I had way too much to say, and it got pretty personal. This is a different style from what I usually do, so I hope you find this interesting. So here's my raw thoughts for each piece. Wow, this already puts me in a strange, uneasy mood. The trumpet sounds so happy, but everything around it sounds so dark and moody. Maybe it's the crackling and airy synth. I get the feeling this will be one of the happier songs though. I'm guessing it's a callback to better memories, something strong and hard to forget. Okay, so it doesn't transition as cleanly as I thought it would. This one is more piano focused. I see this as a reflection on life, knowing this person doesn't have many days left. Once again, the melody is pretty, but everything around it is so eerie. Am I going crazy or is the piano slowing down? That was a good transition. More piano, except this one sounds more depressing. I'm probably gonna say that word a lot and up front. The mix is a bit ugly though, but it makes for a more raw approach. It feels very nighttime-like, just drifting around town, seeing my old school and places I used to go. I'm trying to put myself in the narrator's shoes here. It feels human. The samples here are beautiful. My god, I thought this was going to be more uplifting, but nah, it still sounds pretty depressing. Why does it sound like a sad version of Silent Night, the Christmas song? I guess the title makes sense. The child has fresh eyes of a newborn. What am I talking about? This keyboard sounds broken, like it hasn't been played in years. Maybe it's just the way it was mixed, or maybe the reverb is turned up to 100. It's pretty uncomfortable, puzzling even. Last song of the A section. Airy ambient sounds all around me. I feel like I'm on the top of a hill. Sunny day, admiring the beauty of the world. I hear those drums rumbling though. Maybe that's supposed to be my heartbeat. Knowing that all this is temporary. Nothing lasts forever on earth, and soon I'll be in heaven where forever truly begins. But for now, I'm enjoying the moment while it lasts. Goodness, is everything slowing down? Was I right? I'll admit that I don't know everything about this. I wanted to dive in with an open mind to be surprised. What is this instrument that pops up every 20 seconds? It sounds so cryptic and as this. Gives me the chills, not gonna lie. The rest of this brings me back to A4. Real main lobby vibes here. Oh my god, the day I'm recording this is the winter solstice. It's kind of crazy. This one is called Autumnal Equinox. A weird coincidence. It's chill sounding, though. It has a fall feel, I feel at peace right now. beautiful brass, but something doesn't feel right. The piano's coming in. Okay, now I'm getting the creeps. At some parts it sounds beautiful, and then other times it sounds unsettling. Something inside of me is trying to make way. It's trying to reveal an ugly truth. This is going by quicker than I thought. I'm very intrigued and focused on this. This is more lighthearted. Maybe the loves are, my family. Room is sound kind of warm and soft. Now this is haunting. Something you hear in a horror movie as someone is getting murdered. The music is pleasant, yet frightening. It'd play on a jukebox late at night and now you're running for your life. There's a classy vibe though. Trumpets are wonderful. I love trumpets. There's a reason I played one during my band class days. Why does it sound romantic? I don't want to feel like this, and then the next piece sounds like absolute death. Staring into my loved one's eyes, is this it? You know what? This isn't as sad as I thought it'd be. The ambient noises are almost drowning out this beautiful brass section, but I still have hope. Something is trying to take me, but I have my family, so my life will end with the remembrance of them. This is the end of stage 1, and we're coming out strong, I think. The clashing sounds almost sound like rain, or maybe I'm walking on a bunch of leaves. Where am I? Where am I going? What's next? I wish I was better at pointing out time signatures and recognizing every instrument. I'm not a music critic like that. This is just how I feel, okay? Am I getting colder or warmer to where I need to go? The steps are getting louder. Now they're gone. Damn, maybe I am lost. This sounds dark as hell. I must have walked into a place I wasn't supposed to. This doesn't feel right. I'm uneasy. Crap. That sax, wow, it sounds so unhappy. This might be the scariest track yet. I feel lost. It's like you lose your parents at a theme park. You're just walking around hoping not to get kidnapped, knowing deep in your gut, my parents are going to kill me. But you almost hope you find them and you won't be alone at least. Anything better than being lonely, right? I don't know what to take from this one. Still recovering from C2. Does anyone really care about the emotions that I feel from this? Will anybody even watch this video or make it this far? Is anyone here with me? Sounds like an alien abduction. I love the X-Files. The truth is out there. Maybe I'm not alone after all. Whoa, whatever just happened at the 3-minute mark just woke me up. That was almost an ear-piercing sound of wind. Those bells are freaky, man. Now it's raining. Gotta find cover. Where am I good here? Found myself some road, which I can tell by my loud ass footsteps. On some grass now. Is this Minecraft? Almost like I'm walking on grass and some gravel. Nostalgic sounded, you know? Am I just walking in one direction hopelessly at this point? Was that the point of this entire stage? To just lose hope in myself? Almost like this road in my life I'm walking down is a narrow one that not everyone can follow. It's only open to specific people. Should I be fine with that? I wish I knew. The jazzy instrumental is now swapped out by something more sinister. Ambient, but noisy. What is this woodwind section? Why is it so noisy and unpleasant? Sounds like the first year band class where nobody knew what to do. I remember our first concert now. It sucked, by the way. But that is just me, isn't it? I do feel like the same guy from that first concert. I was only like, wait, how old was I? My intrusive thoughts are coming to light here. I was 12. That was 9 years ago. This is more relaxed. Sounds like another day coming to an end. Laying on my couch after middle school, doing nothing but playing my iPod Touch. I don't know how I lasted so long with it. I didn't even have a job, even though I probably should have. I didn't play sports or take YouTube seriously at that age either. It was just me playing video games, living life like I'm young. Should I be making this about me, or is this how I'm supposed to feel as the day comes to an end? I don't remember a lot of my early childhood. That was a big blank period. Probably for a reason. I'm a big introvert, so I doubt I talked to anyone besides my family. The earliest memory I can recall was being 3 years old at my garage door, getting loaded into an ambulance. I was heavily sick. And wait, what am I doing? Why am I telling this personal story right now? I'd like to go deeper one day, but I don't know if I want to. That's how I feel hearing this. That's my earliest memory. Ugh, that got ugly quick. Am I going crazy? This year's been amazing and I'm the happiest I've ever been. But this music is taking me to some weird places. I hope I don't get any memories of 2019. That time can be erased from history for good. There's a lot of embarrassing moments I hope I forget, but sadly I can't. Maybe this album will help. I regret many moments, very awkward moments, like why did I do that? No one else around me during that moment would remember, but I do, all too well. My friend Talon just told me that this isn't real music. What a bozo. Maybe he is right. Is this really music or just art? It's all mashed together with the use of samples. I think this is music. Maybe no one else thinks it is. I will walk that road alone if I have to. When you want to go where you want to go, you'll have to go to places nobody else will want to go to succeed. It's a long, lonely road. I feel like Billy Joel Armstrong. Okay, that was so corny. What was I thinking? Anyway, I'll be alone from this point, I assume. It's sad, but I'm sure once I get to where I want to be, people will pay more attention. That was the second stage, on to the third. This sounds like something out of a cartoon outro, some Looney Tunes stuff. A bit eerie too. This sounds like marching music actually. I was in the band if you can tell. Funny enough, our lead drummer was named Benjamin and he played in the back. Or was it the front? Crap, maybe I do have dementia. That ended abruptly. What if that means something? It cuts off too early to represent something ripping apart? So the little details, I guess. The more this piece continues, the more frightened I become by it. Where am I now? Underground? Feels like my heart is beating or the sound of my pickaxe mining through the surface of the world. I should hop on Minecraft later. I thought those were vocals for a second. It was loud and out of nowhere. So far, third stage is quite confusing. I'm not exactly sure where I am from here. Maybe that's the point. It's a much lighter sound. I feel kind of joyful right now. Good pick me up from the darker sections before. I'm imagining a dark, airy atmosphere. Nothing in sight. Maybe I'm venturing to like some place that people don't see. I'm gonna try closing my eyes. The skies are lighting up. Clouds in weird shapes. Everything around me is flashy in weird patterns. Anyone else feel the music like this? Or is something like that too bewildering to other people? I guess it's just how I feel at the moment. I can't say I've ever had a musical experience like this ever, where there is no lyrics, but I'm instead painting my own picture, creating my own story and lyrics. It's still a pretty dark night. What a beautiful moon. I somehow made a tent in a fireplace. Looking like something out of those shows. And I couldn't tell you what shows, honestly. Maybe SpongeBob? You know, the ground is sand, fireplace, white tent, you're chilling. What a stage of bizarre mixed feeling thus far. Speechless. I feel dizzy, but I ain't dizzy. What can I say? By now, I get pretty bored of an album. I'm so focused though. This is unusual. Almost like time is not going anywhere. I shouldn't be this attached for 2 hours now. By the end of American Heartbreak, I didn't want to listen to music for the rest of the day. For some reason, I want to keep listening. These song titles feel like so familiar. Didn't I just listen to a song with this title? This is getting spooky, like actually. The horror effects on this one, oh my gosh. I have a dark feeling in my chest. The winds are getting heavier. It must be like 3 a.m. at this point. Fire has gone out. It's just me and my tent. What a world. This track sounds broken. Even the title is messed up. Burning despair does ache? What does that even mean? Nothing about this sounds proper. It's all breaking down. It's like I'm losing sight of reality. I must have accidentally walked into a cave. It's so windy, dark. I'm alone. Trying to reflect on some earlier simple days, those blissful memories when I was riding my scooter around town, when I used to actually play with my little brother in the summertime. I guess I'm too old for that now. I can tell I'm still in that cave even if I see these things. The winds surrounding those good old days. I'm not familiar with Benjamin Libet. Looks like he was a pioneer in the field of human consciousness. This album should be a test for someone's consciousness, honestly. I'm guessing that's the Benjamin that Caretaker was referencing on E1. It's all coming together. The winds are so harsh, but not loud at all. I can feel their presence, but my ears aren't picking them up the way I should. I hear something that sounds like torch crackling. Maybe I just made a torch and now I'm exploring this cave into the unknown. The last part of stage 3. If you're still here with me, I appreciate you sticking around this far. This has been an out-of-body experience for me. I don't see myself ever forgetting this. It's not over yet though. Only halfway to where we need to go. I've spent 2 hours with this vision, from being with my family to traveling to a forest to a narrow road to a campfire to a cave. This is where it gets scary, I assume. The rest of these pieces are 20 minutes long. Should I take a break? I'm confused for sure, a bit vulnerable too, but what have I got myself into? I've come so far. I've gone on a massive journey just by hearing music. I feel like nobody has messaged me in real life for hours. I think I'm alone. Everything is breaking apart. I'm not a movie watcher, but I feel like I'm part of one. It's a horror movie, but not like a traditional one with some type of evildoer. The horror is feeling like you're on the verge of death from nothing other than your own self-consciousness. Around the 17-minute section, it all starts to fade and make these chirping sounds, almost like I'm laying on a hospital bed, and the chirps are from the monitor indicating a heartbeat. It's a scary thought. I haven't been to one of those in years. Back when I was super sick, I felt like I was visiting the hospital every week. Around the 20-minute mark, where did that dark synth come from? Horrifying. Am I going to have to endure these sounds for 4 more hours? This one sounds even more broken than the previous. It's all trying to adjust to something, like a TV trying to acquire some sort of signal, flipping through stations, looking for life. Is there life? There's this sense of panic, scrambling for answers. When your car radio is acting up, you're in the middle of nowhere and you can't find a station near you that can find you. Around 11 minutes, it seems like we found a signal, but it's not a joyful feeling. It still feels about as dark as flipping endlessly through stations. There are these wave sounds. Are we at a beach or something? Losing signal again. Crap. Back to this, I guess. 14 minutes. We found another signal, but it almost feels like I found hell. I don't want to be here. Please lose signal again. Holding my crucifix chain, I feel like I just avoided Hell's Gates. Back in the cold, thankfully. Losing signal now. That was heavy. This sounds more cheerful. A brief moment of bliss before we dive into more horror. It's a bit peaceful, yet it still has that cutting edge aesthetic though. It's preparing me for whatever's to come next. I'll be honest, I'm getting hungry. I need to have a break from this. After J1, I'm pausing this. As it continues on, there isn't much to note, but it just begins to become less cheerful in exchange for the darkness incoming. Looks like we're in that cave again. It's pure agony. This isn't enjoyable. I think that's the point. Outside of being in a cave, there's also this feeling of flying. You're on a plane, looking over the world above you, the terrifying world, but that plane is being driven by nobody. You're the only person on that plane, yet it somehow flies. Eventually, you snap out of it. By the 11-minute mark, you realize you're alone again. It's a crushing feeling. You start walking around the cave, which seems to be crumbling before your eyes. Every step, every fall of rock echoes throughout the cave. Now it's calm again. Made it to the safe part. The scratching kind of reminds me of the Minecraft disc. Now you're sitting in the dark with a torch in hand, figuring out where to go from here without being sealed in by stone. Maybe it's too late to escape. We're trapped at this point as stage 4 comes to a close. We have to accept our soon-to-be fate. After taking a half-hour break to recharge my sanity, we're diving back in. Immediately, it's a pure mess. I can almost hear some sort of scraping sound. It also reminds me of a zapping noise. I'm not sure how to interpret this. Maybe it's the sound of my brain's slowly unplugging itself. Frightening to hear something and not know what it is. You're going into this battle completely blindfolded. By this title, this plague seems to be entangling. This whole experience is becoming twisted together until the 4-minute mark. There is a hint of a light before we're pushed back into the entanglement seconds later. At the 6-minute mark, I can hear the sound of rain and wind, a storm coming through. Then we're back to the entanglement. We're fighting for survival, taking brief gasps of air before being pushed back down into the battle. This seems to be the The entanglement seems to have calmed, and now we are facing some sort of snowstorm by the sounds of it. Just realized it's been a while since I've heard actual music on this album. It's been full of ambient noise. More entanglements. They seem faster in comparison to K1. I just noticed this, but in my left ear, it's filled with entanglement action, but if I listen closely to my right ear, I can faintly hear the classical music in the distance. It all stops during the 6-minute mark to let the storm run through. Towards the 10-minute mark, I can hear the sound of banging, indicating myself banging on the walls to try escape. There's no hope. Towards the 13-minute mark, I hear this growling noise in my left ear, scraping over and over. It's all ugly wind from here. A continuation of the wind noise to start. Soon the brain's deteriorating thanks to Alzheimer's. It reverses the way it was originally formed at birth. I can feel myself being clouded by this air. Is this what it's like to lose your memory? The 8-minute mark, I can hear the sound of the brain being torn apart. The scraping of the brain is terrifying to hear. Just ripping slowly. The entanglements show up at the 12-minute mark again. What a return. Sooner or later it stops, and now it feels like everything is crumbling from the inside. The cave we've been trapped in is now starting to fall apart. The journey isn't over yet though. It cuts directly into chaos, certainly sudden. The noise, wow, frightening sounds. The lack of music truly makes this a much harder listen. I think this stage really expresses the suffering of it all. There isn't a whole lot happening, which makes this experience seem like it's lasting forever. It all settles down towards the 14-minute mark. I can hear the sounds of breathing, quite unsettling. At this point, I believe the cave is closing in on us and we're forced to surrender. Final stage starts off with some harsh, bassy, rumbling, thundering its way into the mix. We're in the eye of this storm at this point. There's not much we can do but count our days. My storm comparison earlier is pretty accurate. This feels like I'm listening to a thunderstorm using headphones. There is the rain pouring down, the occasional lightning and fierce rumbling of the thunder. It's signaling the end of our days. Bring on the rain. The suffering of the last 2 hours of this album truly scares me, how there are people in this world who live with this feeling every day. I'm lucky to only have to experience 6 hours of this. I truly hope I never have to live this condition, and I pray for everyone who is. I must accept my defeat. This is a losing game. I shall die in this cave. As the nasty winds of the storm allow the cave to crush me further, I can feel it crushing me. Is this where it ends? I can hear those brief breaths of air where the wind fades for a second until it returns. That glimmer of hope that is immediately crushed, destroying the dreams of a suffering man. As empty as the track is, no music, just a bunch of air, it truly describes how the person's brain is feeling, completely empty in thought. There's nothing inside of it. All remnants of personality or memories are lost. At last, the decline is over. The ground shakes violently. This will be our last contact with Earth before we float away to the heavens above. Our suffering will be over soon. My goodness, that bassy hit at around 6:30 shook me to my core. I actually got goosebumps hearing that. The drone atmosphere is haunting as we spend our last moments here. It's so dark. It'll go silent and then come back with a gut punch of a noise. I don't know if I'm communicating how I'm feeling correctly, but I'm trying, y'all. They just catch me by surprise each time, these unpredictable clashes. The thundering noises at 11:40 truly give up the fact of the storm being just about over. At this point, it's just distorted bassy noise humming through my headphones. The music attempts to return at 15:30, but it's just being drowned out. There's nothing left that can be done. A terrible way to go, but there is no choice, as my body lays inside of this cavern for the rest of time. This is it. My place in this world will finally fade away. Say your goodbyes. I have butterflies in my stomach. I'm really nervous about this payoff. There's not a lot to work with yet, but I can imagine it's building up to something epic and special. It's like I'm making my way up to heaven. There's this heavenly ambient sound echoing throughout. I'm finally free of suffering and misery. I can live on without dealing with this terrible condition onto eternal life. With 6 minutes left, I think we finally made it. The sound of noise being cut off is beyond satisfying as we finally get to hear music. It's a choir of angels singing a beautiful hymn. This is what it's like to arrive into heaven. We're now free to live forever, everywhere, at the end of time. That's it. I can't lie, I shed a few tears there. I've only cried to like 17 songs, and that last track was one of them. What an experience that album was, man. It just makes me feel grateful for the situation I'm in. I can't imagine going through like these emotions every single day. I don't think I'll ever listen to this ever again, but I'm glad I did. I needed to witness such an important record that I can safely call one of the best of all time. A beautiful, terrifyingly real production, full of twists and turns, starting with the remembrance of past memories to going on a journey to an uncharted area to losing all remembrance of a life to perishing and witnessing heaven. I think I've said all I need to say in this video. Please give this album a shot. 100% recommendation. If you have the patience to complete such a 6-hour task, make sure to love all truly. Peace.